All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. It's already been a crazy start to August, and now this week we got the consumer earnings, big data overseas, and then the Fed minutes. Now, I wasn't expecting much this week, but with a lineup like that, we might get some movements ahead of Powell. So, we got a lot to talk about. I have the recap, the breakdown of the week, and what to expect on the schedule. I have a bunch of plays that I want to go over, from the bankruptcy squeeze all the way down to the Rite Aid and the covered calls. I really like that play. We got to go over that. And then finally, just what's the main point of this week? It's going to be those consumer earnings, and keep a side, not like a side eye, but like a slight eye on the bonds, because we've already seen a lot, but we'll see if that continues. But remember, after this week, it's going to be Jerome Powell. Then before you know it, August is over, and then it's September. But it's only halfway through for now. So, Chad, I need your help. I need your thumbs up on the video. I need you to make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. That's how it looks right there. The chat, everything, free 99. We will see you there. I hope your weekend was good, and happy Monday. But now, oh yeah, wait, hold on. Actually, I almost forgot. Today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday, and this is the random account generator. This is where I really need your help. What we ask on this watch list, you post a random option trade in the comments. Keep it below $100. Post the strike price, expiration, all that good stuff, and we are going to randomly pick it. But come on, we need some juice, baby. I need a play, so post a good one below. And now, let's talk about this week. So, like I'm telling you, we have a lot of different events. What I was saying a lot from last week, you're not going to be getting a lot United States-wise. It'll be retail sales on Wednesday. It will be the minutes, but with the way the bonds and everybody's been talking about pricing and the fact that we have more data ahead of the next meeting, I'm not expecting the minutes to have that big of effect. But like I'm saying, we got a pretty interesting lineup, and maybe we get some movements. There'll also be the Philly Fed on Thursday. You'll get initial jobless claims, but a lot of it is going to be consumer, retail related, and then a little bit of real estate. Then you got the minutes. So the schedule, that's not going to be crazy. But when we talk about Europe and what's going on overseas, that has a little bit more juice. But what I really want you to see now is the earnings. This is what I mean by consumer earnings. If you've been paying attention so far, we've wrapped up the banks, we've wrapped up the big tech. You got a little bit of the smaller tech companies last week, and the chips and everybody in between. Well, now this week you're going to be hearing from companies like Home Depot, Walmart, TJ Maxx, even Dole, like the pineapples, and then even John Deere at the end of the week. So a little bit of corporate stuff, but for the main part, or the main theme this week, it's going to be focusing all around the consumer and whether or not they are still resilient, and even how that ties into inflation and all of that stuff. So even if you're looking for plays, there's going to be a lot of these. Even Target, with everything going on, I think people are even expecting a guidance cut, but you got a lot of these companies, Kava, everything in between. So I think it'll be good post-earnings plays, but for the most part, as far as the story, where we go, how the market moves, I mean, August, we've only been going down so far. This could give us a little bit more of info. So now the final thing, like I said, there's a lot of data overseas. You're probably going to wake up to a decent amount of it. You're going to get China data, I believe tonight or Monday night, related to their GDP or like activity. Japan's GDP is going to be coming out, and then throughout the week, you're getting CPI numbers from like Canada, UK, I even think Australia. So overseas, they got their big data sets. Again, China and Japan stuff are both related to what we've seen in both of those countries recently. It's even had some impact on financial markets. I do think that will be important, but other than that, we're going to get through all this data, see how it plays into this story, and then at the end of this week, it's Powell. So I hope you're ready, but Let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I got a lot of plays, and like I told you here from the beginning, I am going to be focusing on a lot of post earnings. I think Walmart, Target, Home Depot, maybe we get them before, but definitely afterwards, and definitely depending on the story that's given from the earnings, I think those are always great continuation plays. So, keep that on your radar this week. But as far as the first play, before I show you the covered calls, let's talk about the bankruptcy squeeze. I think this was a dumb play, but the fact was we saw this come up, I think like 2-3 weeks ago, saw it come up with some of the flip stocks. I believe I bought this, or I saw this the same day that I bought Rite Aid, but pretty much wheels up. They've been going through like bankruptcy stuff. They've been doing a deal with like Delta, refinancing, restructuring debt, getting credit lines, all of that. Friday after hours, they said there was restructuring news. It was the lowest price I've seen it at. I grabbed 1,000 shares, $1,000 for $1.13. Now, the idea here is, if you saw WeWork in any of the bankruptcy names lately, they've been getting a run. Now, is it short-lived? Definitely, but percentage-wise from the bottom, it can add up. So, extremely risky. We'll see if this has any legs here with wheels up, and depending on how serious people want to take that news, but gonna be watching that. However, before I get to the next play, I will say this. We've talked about some of the smaller plays recently, and there's a lot of different plays in companies, and it's not so much about the company, but just keep in mind that even if a play is a small dollar amount, if that play is susceptible to 30, 40, 50% swings, even on shares, those amounts can somewhat add up. So we saw a lot of things get taken out on the leg with earnings. I had to suffer from it, man. I had to pay on a lot of them, but I think it's a good reminder. Even some of these cheaper stocks, you got to be careful. So even on Wheels Up, got $1,000, and now for the second play, it is a cheaper stock with Rite Aid, and I definitely put way more than $1,000, but what I did with this now is I lowered my risk substantially by selling covered calls. So if you remember last week, we bought Rite Aid. I have 22,000 shares now at an average of like 236. I grabbed those 2,000 or 20,000 after the 2,000 that we picked up. But what I did on Friday morning is I decided to sell covered calls. So my cost basis, I'm pretty much like right above where the stock is at now. And what I decided to do was short the January 2025. So this has a lot of time. $4 calls, and I got 90 cents a pop. Pretty much by getting 90 cents a share on these options and making it equivalent to the amount that I own, this is a covered call. I essentially collected back 90 cents per share, lowering my cost basis from 237 down to 147. So I was pretty excited about this now because I figured, hey, it caps my gain all the way up to $4. If it does run up, there is even runway in December. Some people are like, well, you're tied up on this. Yes and no, but if you've seen some of these plays, especially as long as the stock moves up, that's, we're going to have that be the least of our worries. You could always roll out of it or find a way to even capture extra gains if it does go up. But the idea here is, if I want to play this play, I do think it had a lot of risk. I do think it has a lot of upside and value. Utilizing these covered calls, I do think I could have waited. I sold them a little cheap. So if you are watching this play, you could definitely get a way better price than I did. But looking at it too, if it does have a nice pop this week, I think covered calls after another run are going to be tremendous. But hopefully you see here, went in big, sold covered calls, got almost like, I think 30-40% of my investment back, lowered my risk here now, and now we're sitting a little bit more comfortable. Still has a ton of risk, but now we see where it goes, and then we could even maneuver in and out of it. But that was a big play. I really like that. Going to be watching Rite Aid this week. And then finally, the last play I want you to see, another play that I picked up last week, but this thing barely worked, and it's weird. On my TD Ameritrade, it just says 0 all the time. But KVUE, they had news that they will be replacing an unnamed company in the S&P 500. They will be replacing it. They're already at a low value. This is where I'm getting the play idea. I mean, sometimes when you get the news are getting added to the S&P, like the announcement, and then right before it happens, you do get a run up. But I've noticed a lot of times companies get added to the S&P, they're not just going down. The difference here is that KVUE is a new IPO. The spinoff spinoff from Johnson & Johnson. So maybe even though it's not up, it still holds like a higher value. That's the confusing part about it, but I will be watching this week. Hopefully it has a delayed reaction on the news. Otherwise, we'll be dipping out of that. So I've been holding those. I got 500 shares around like $23.90, so about 10-20 cents below where it's at now. And then that's going to be my only other play. So Chad, I hope you're ready. I do got a couple others. I'm watching like Lyft, and like I said, or I'm still holding Lyft. Those came back up. We have a couple of other plays from last week, but for the most part, I'd watch earnings there, post-earnings, consumer. Get ready for the next couple weeks. Don't get too jumpy, but I'm hoping it's chill, and if not, welcome to August seasonality. I hope you got the armor, and I hope you got the 10%, but that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure Hydrate Healthy ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, charisma is not character. You gotta protect with character. Hold it down. Do what you say and mean what you say. But guess what? It's all a learning journey. You are growing, and in the meantime, while you grow, have a long term. Saving 10%, growing with you, babe. But Chad, you're ready. That's it. I told you. You ready, baby. You got a good weekend. That's it. I didn't mean to hit you like that. I'm sorry. I don't want to even to be awkward. I'm just saying, you ready. Why do I keep doing it? But bro, you already know. Let's go. The year is almost done. That's it. Every time I tell you it's almost October, Christmas, Halloween, it's there. It's halfway done. But let's go. Game time. You didn't come this far for no reason. But Chad, I love you. God bless you all. I'm trying. That's it. I don't know. It's just hype. That's what you bring in this, but not too hype. Not too hype, man, because Powell, it's not even Powell this week. And then the minutes. And they're going to be like, did the minutes leak? And the minutes didn't leak, bro. I'm sorry. Why I keep hitting you? Okay, bye, Lord. Amen. Thank you. Very calm. Relaxing. Right? See, we don't have to make it. Maybe we leave on. I've never left on ASMR. Okay. This got really weird. It wasn't, I didn't think it was going that direction, but